Hello, sports fans. Welcome to the Oklahoma Sports Report. Heath, Mark Rodgers from the Garage, I-240 and Western, the home of the best burgers and the best beer prices in the metro. Lots of garages around. Mark, it is time for the SEC to come visit Norman.
Conference season opens up, yeah, and so far so good for Oklahoma. They passed all their tests with flying colors through most of the non-conference portion of the season. Still have the Kent State Golden Flashes coming up later on, but the Auburn game is going to be a lot of fun this week.
Well, you know, and it's a first SEC game this year. It has a special spice to it. Jackson Arnold back on the home field of where he started, and a lot of fans, I think they have respect for Jackson Arnold. I mean, he did what he needed to do, left in good graces. So I think he should be, I don't know, not welcomed as such, but not booed.
I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's probably going to be some boos out there. People were upset with the way that he played. I think that they had higher expectations for him, and that's not necessarily anyone's fault. I'm sure Jackson Arnold had high expectations. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. He was incredibly successful. Oklahoma did not have a real good offensive game plan, offensive line at the beginning of last year, so he's off to a little bit better start at Auburn. He has his weaknesses. I don't think he's a guy that's going to sit back in the pocket and go through progressions and throw the ball down the field.
That I want to make that point with you.
Yeah.
Okay. To me, Jackson Arnold is a good quarterback when he gets that first read. Mm-hmm. When his first read is open and he can just let it go, he's a good quarterback. He's got to go from there to, like you said, making read here, read there.
You know, I think I can nail this for you. I mean, I think his biggest problem, and I don't know that he can ever overcome this, is that he's a runner. So he's pretty successful at that, and he's run the ball well this year for Auburn. And so I think rather than his brain is telling him, take off, rather than sit back here and throw the ball, and so he's antsy. And so he hesitates, and it's just, I mean, it's a tough thing to do, is to play the quarterback position, major college, high school, whatever. The step from high school to college is one. It's been really tough on him.
Well, I think Michael Hawkins has that same thing, so we'll talk about him another time. Hey, we are at the Garage where it is Rad Hour every day from 11 to 6 p.m., 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., domestics, wine, frozen cocktails, and draft cocktails all on sale during Rad Hour here at the Garage. We'll be right back.
If you've been in an automobile accident, you need expert medical evaluation and care. Just like in football, every team needs a leader to reach the goal line. Dr. Lopez will be the quarterback of your care. With a trusted network of specialists, he makes sure every part of your injury is treated the right way. As a board-certified, fellowship-trained trauma specialist, Dr. Lopez brings years of experience to your recovery. Concussions are often overlooked, but we use the iBox concussion system, the only FDA-approved office-based device for detecting concussions. Play it safe. Get checked out without delay. Call the OKC Car Crash Clinic at 405-86-CRASH today. Your health is too important to wait.
Reveal the skin you've always wanted with Morpheus 8 at the new Laser Light. Combining the power of microneedling and radio frequency, Morpheus 8 stimulates collagen production to tighten, smooth, and contour your skin. It's a non-surgical solution for scars, wrinkles, and other blemishes, perfect for your face, neck, and body. Experience youthful, radiant skin with minimal downtime. Schedule your consultation today at the new Laser Light and discover a new you with Morpheus 8.
Mark, one of our good friends, T&W Tire, is sponsoring us this year. Talk to us about T&W Tire.
Well, we love T&W Tire. They're the sports animal locks of the week, so you're always going to get some good advice on that. T&W Tire started off in Oklahoma in the 80s with 5 locations, and they've grown to 30 locations that are all across the Southwest, the Midwest part of the United States. So if you need tires for a fleet of vehicles, that's what they really specialize in. They do a great job with that. But T&W is more than just tires. If your car has the check engine light on, you can roll in there, oil change, they do it all. They'll usually give you a diagnostic exam for free when you go in there. So check them out, man. They do great customer service. Love the guys at the location on 25 North Council Road over there, but they've got locations all over. As we said, great family-owned business.
The Garage is more than just a place to fix up the classic car. It's also a place to watch an instant classic. Or write the next great classic rock song. The Garage, the place to keep it classic.
Charles, I do quite enjoy Oklahoma, but I do declare I miss the pub. Oh, Michael, you silly muppet. Why don't we just go to Pub W? You plonker. Pub W. It's Oklahoma's pub with all your favorites. Fish and chips, pigs in a blanket, chili lime chicken salad, and of course, whiskey. You said whiskey, my good man? Indeed I did. Pub W. Oklahoma's pub.
And welcome back. Oklahoma Sports Report OU Football Edition from the Garage, I-240 and Western here in Oklahoma City. You mentioned Jackson Arnold wanting to run. He's the number 2 running quarterback in the SEC.
Yeah, you know who's number 1?
Who?
Is it, John Mateer's got to be fairly close.
John Mateer's 3.
Okay, number 1 is Marcel Reed, I would
Yes,
say.
from Texas A&M.
Yeah.
He's the number 1 running quarterback. But Jackson Arnold is number 2, and he's averaging 167 yards a game passing and 60-something yards, 62 yards, something like that, running. And so, you know, that's both of these teams, OU and Auburn, rely on runs from their quarterback. Auburn more than OU, but you know, you're not going to be able to be successful long term in the SEC relying on your quarterback to be your main runner.
It's hard to do. I mean, you have to mix and match, and then that's the dangerous part about the game on Saturday for OU is, you know, that if OU gets caught in some run fits and they get caught coming up early on run on play action and different types of things, Jackson Arnold can go over the top. And Auburn has pro wide receivers. I mean, Cam Coleman is a pro wide receiver. He's a sophomore. He's a big-time guy. They also have been in the portal and done a good job of recruiting receivers there too. So
well, they got Singleton out of the portal.
Yeah,
and he's pretty good.
Georgia Tech, right? Yeah. I mean, so they've got a good chance to, and they got a good defense to complement that. So it's not, you know, that they gave up some yards and some points to Baylor early on in the season. Baylor's got a really good offense, but this is a game that I think OU should be able to play well enough to win. But Auburn is a dangerous opponent.
You know, now. I got a stat here for you for John Mateer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you know, OU doesn't want him to run a lot, but you want him to run enough to be successful. But here's the stat I got for you. John Mateer is one of just 5 football players, quarterbacks, since the start of the 2000 season to register at least 1 rushing touchdown and 1 passing touchdown in 9 or more consecutive games.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you who the others are. This may see, all right. De'Eric King, remember from Houston?
Okay,
Went down to Miami. Tim Tebow, Lamar Jackson, and Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, that's a pretty good list.
That's a pretty good list that John Mateer has found himself in.
That's how many Heismans? That's 3 Heismans on there?
Yeah,
3 Heismans.
3 Heismans on there, and De'Eric King was an excellent runner and a quarterback. But that's just what, you know, one of the things that John Mateer, as you said, you don't want John Mateer running the ball. You know, I mean, 19 times against Michigan, can't do that. You know, 10 times maybe, you know, and keep it all, you know, and say 5 or 6 runs and some play action where you take off and run. But golly, you can't just be running, especially against a good defense like Auburn's got.
Well, you would like him to run the way that he did in the Temple game, where you fool the entire defense, get 1 block, and then he goes untouched 55 yards for a touchdown. That's another good way to do it.
Yeah, that's a good way.
And they said that, you know, the advanced metrics had him running at 20 miles an hour on that run. That's pretty good speed. I think Kyler Murray, 21 miles an hour at OU at some point. So he is not slow when he gets out there in the open field.
And he's a good runner. And you know, and if it comes down to winning the game, yes, they will run him and they will take their chances if they need to win the important games. But a couple things off of Brett Venables' press conference. Auburn is top 20 in rushing offense and also top 20 in preventing the run in defense in the country.
Yeah, that's a great combination to have. And if you go back to the game last year at Auburn, they controlled the line of scrimmage. Oklahoma was able to get a pick 6 in that game. They didn't have a whole lot of success trying to run it. Michael Hopkins took off on a broken field and scored a touchdown where he outran the entire defense. but just moving the football was difficult on that day, and they relied on some Auburn mistakes to get it in that game and come out on top. So it's a better OU team this year.
A better OU team this year, and they're going to have to prove it, and they're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to at least make Auburn respect the run, because if they turn it loose, turn the defense loose on John Mateer may have to, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him than it has been so far this year.
He has bounced off some players, and so yes, the Auburn edge, both edge players are pros, and so those guys I think are going to be tough to elude.
They will be. Hey, we are at the Garage, I-240 and Western. There's garages all over the metro area. Find them. They are voted the best burgers and beer and onion rings by 405 magazine. So come in, have a burger, get you a side of onion rings, get your favorite beverage, and enjoy a football game on the big screens here at the Garage. We'll be right back.
If you've been injured in an auto accident, you need to contact Dr. Martin Lopez at the OKC Car Crash Clinic. There you will be evaluated and treated by a board-certified and fellowship-trained specialist with 3 decades of clinical expertise. Concussions are an injury that are frequently underdiagnosed. At the Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic, we utilize the iBox concussion assessment system to help further evaluate you. For an evaluation, please contact the Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic at 405-86-CRASH or check us out at okccrash.com.
The Garage is more than just a place to fix up the classic car. It's also a place to watch an instant classic. Or write the next great classic rock song. The Garage, the place to keep it classic.
Reveal the skin you've always wanted with Morpheus 8 at the new laser light. Combining the power of microneedling and radio frequency, Morpheus 8 stimulates collagen production to tighten, smooth, and contour your skin. It's a non-surgical solution for scars, wrinkles, and other blemishes, perfect for your face, neck, and body. Experience youthful, radiant skin with minimal downtime. Schedule your consultation today at the new laser light and discover a new you with Morpheus 8.
Charles, I do quite enjoy Oklahoma, but I do declare I miss the pub. Oh, Michael, you silly muppet. Why don't we just go to Pub W? You plonker. Pub W. It's Oklahoma's pub with all your favorites. Fish and chips, pigs in a blanket, chili lime chicken salad, and of course, whiskey. You said whiskey, my good man? Indeed I did. Pub W. Oklahoma's pub.
Mark, one of our good friends, T&W Tire, is sponsoring us this year. Talk to us about T&W Tire.
Well, we love T&W Tire. They're the sports animal locks of the week, so you're always going to get some good advice on that. T&W Tire started off in Oklahoma in the 80s with 5 locations, and they've grown to 30 locations that are all across the southwest and midwest part of the United States. So if you need tires for a fleet of vehicles, that's what they really specialize in. They do a great job with that. But T&W is more than just tires. If your car has the check engine light on, you can roll in there, oil change, they do it all. They'll usually give you a diagnostic exam for free when you go in there. So check them out, man. They do great customer service. Love the guys at the location on 25 North Council Road over there, but they've got locations all over. As we said, great family-owned business.
And welcome back. Oklahoma Sports Report OU Football Edition. Mark Rodgers, Ricky from the Garage, I-240 and Western. Mark, we have good friends, T&W Tire, part of our show. We like to represent them.
That's right, T&W Tire Locks of the Week. And T&W Tire Lock of the Week this year, I think a lot of people are going to have Oklahoma this week. The line's already moving up from 4.5 to 6.5, but they do a great job. They can service your vehicle. They can also service your fleet of vehicles when it comes to tires, but they're more than just tires at T&W. They take great care of you. And that's how they've stayed in business for 40 years.
And you can send your wife there with complete confidence. They will take care of it, and you don't have to worry about anything, because I've done that. Hey, but I like the lock of the week. I like OU more than 6.5.
Okay, yeah.
And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. We also, in this segment, generally talk defense, and we'll be bringing up the Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic's defensive play of the week, because the defense played pretty well. Of course, it's Temple. They didn't really do a whole lot of different things, but they're going to have to play well and play structured defense against Auburn and Jackson Arnold's run game.
Yeah, they played 20 players, 20 snaps or more in the game at Temple. That's incredible depth. The linebacker position I talked about before the beginning of the season, you got to replace Danny Stutzman. He was in on a ton of tackles. But Kip Lewis and Kobe McKenzie have been outstanding so far. They also have some depth at that position, and they've got some interchangeable parts back there in the back end. Robert Spears-Jennings played 22 snaps. Michael Boganowski's playing a lot in the back end. So Brent's trusting young players to be out there on the field. I think that's going to help sustain and build the program. But right now, this OU defense is playing as well as anyone in the country.
Well, and that's one of the things. Robert Spears-Jennings, by the way, is suspended for the first half.
R. Mason Thomas.
R. Mason Thomas, excuse me.
Yep.
R. Mason Thomas is suspended for the first half for his targeting, which, he's probably targeting, but there's also a standard that we don't really know. And so there's a nebulous thing out there. He misses the first half. I don't think it'll hurt too much because of the depth, as you just spoke of.
Yeah, Marvin Jones has played great at that defensive end position. At the beginning of camp, I think he was a little bit slow to kind of acclimate, maybe, but he's really come on once the lights have turned on. So, a former 5-star from Florida State is playing good at that position. So OU's added good players.
Yeah, they have. And cornerback position, you got Guillory as a freshman and Kendall Dobie, first game out. Got him back, got him some snaps. Gentry Williams didn't play, and he's supposed to play and be ready to go on Saturday. They're going to need him because they're going to play a lot of man-to-man on the outside. And as you said, there's some pro receivers out there that are going to take more than just man-to-man if they can't get them, if they can't get to the quarterback quick.
Yeah, I think, Brent is always focused on stopping the run. And he might use some creative ways to do that. I think they'll probably give the corners a little bit of help this week. So there's going to be a lot of cat and mouse going on with Brent. That's what he loves to do. We'll see how it works.
And something that's come up to me before we get to the Oklahoma City car crash defensive play of the game. There's been a lot. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, a lot of radio, a lot of your compatriots, a lot of other radios all around.
Those are all our compatriots.
All of your compatriots. But there's a lot of talk out there that have already put OU in the SEC championship game. And we haven't even played, and I say we as in Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, hadn't even played the SEC game yet. So I know they've shown good signs. But I think a lot of this talk that these media people are doing about, they should be in the playoffs. They're the number one team in the SEC and all that. I think just a bit premature. I think they wait until they at least play one game in the SEC.
Well, everything is true that we said at the beginning of the year. There's going to be a lot of toss-up games on this schedule. And this week is less than a touchdown favorite. And there's going to be, I think, a team considered better than Auburn come in here and play Norman and LSU at the end of the year, ranked number 3 in the country right now. But no one has just looked fantastic in the league. Texas has certainly not looked great. They've got a loss, and they have issues at quarterback. Ole Miss has a little bit of issue at quarterback, but that's what makes it fun. You're going to have to kind of let these things play out. But the good news is that Oklahoma has played better on defense than they played a year ago. They've got a quarterback that might be as good as anyone in the country, and so when you have that, you got a chance to contend for a conference.
Well, and I understand that. I'd like to just tamp it down a bit. Hey, what we're not going to tamp down is the Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic defensive play of the game, and I have one in Reggie Powers. The strong safety came in and got his first sack.
Blitz.
Yeah, and it was really, really an exciting play for him. And I think that is well worth being the defensive play of the game from Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic. And if you're unfortunate or find yourself in a car crash, then you need the Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic staff to help you out. They will take you all the way through it and help you with all the insurance. And if you need representation, they can point you in that direction also. Oklahoma City Car Crash Clinic and Dr. Martin Lopez. And welcome back. Oklahoma Sports Report. Mark Rodgers, Rick Heath from the Garage, I-240 and Western. There are garages all around the metro where you can come in and get a fill-up with some of the best burgers and best onion rings in the metro area. So come in and enjoy Rat Hour from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and get the best tasting burger and onion rings you will find. Mark, I'm going to say one other rant here today.
Okay.
And it came to me this last week about Jaden Knott. Okay. Everybody was worried. What happened to Jaden Knott? What's going on? What if Jaden Knott just doesn't care? I mean, he came in from California. He doesn't like what's going on, maybe. He got his money, and he goes, I don't have to work hard. I already got my money. Because they're talking about lack of effort. He doesn't want to be out there and be a leader. He doesn't want to go out, and show himself in practice. Maybe he's just saving himself and thinking he might be able to go to the pros, and he doesn't want to get hurt because he's already got the money.
That's interesting. There was a lack of effort play in the Temple game. One of the snaps that he got in there, the few snaps. OU's got good running backs. I mean, they've got one that they didn't know that they had at the beginning of the year. And Blaylock has been outstanding. I've always liked Xavier Robinson. It looks like he was second in terms of snaps in the game on Saturday. And so he might be given effort and just might not be better than those two guys.
Well, this last time I'll mention that guy's name.
Well, hey,
because he hadn't deserved it yet.
It's the third game of the season.
Yeah.
Injuries happen, and guys, there have been guys throughout the history of OU football, running backs, that have stepped up big time in injury situations. Remember Freddie Sims, came in and ran for a couple of 100 yards in a bowl game.
Age.
Yeah, right. It could go way back, but I mean, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to have a lot of talent on the roster. You never know when you're going to need it.
Okay, all right. Let's talk a little bit about the game on Saturday. I got some over and unders for you.
Oh, sweet.
You like those over and unders? Mm-hmm. All right. Over and under for passing for John Mateer. I've got it at 200 yards, and I'm thinking that if OU's going to win, they're going to have more than 200 yards.
Yeah, I would say that's an over for sure. I think that I'd say it's probably okay. I mean, the rushing yards, I'm probably going to go under what you said. So I think they're going to need to throw it well to win. So I think that number's more in the 260 range.
Okay. Yeah, and that's what I think they're going to need to win. I got the rushing yards at 100.
I'm going to say under 100.
That's what I mean. The more I think about it, 80 maybe. I mean, maybe under 80 even.
They didn't necessarily just surge over the 100-yard mark at Temple.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a lot of different. And they had some big chunk plays there where they were successful, especially with Blaylock in the game, of blocking down and him running around the edge. That ain't going to happen on Saturday.
Okay. Who's the leading receiver for OU on Saturday?
Leading receiver, I'm going to say that it's going to be Satanga.
Okay. I think he's got a big game. He's waiting on a big game.
Yeah, and they'll do some different things with Burks. They're young in the secondary. They're young across the middle. And so I think OU can have some success there.
I think Cannon.
We shouldn't go against Koenig.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a connection there between he and Mateer. I think Mateer knows where he's going to be. And man,
and that's who I got Koenig in there. That's a great addition for OU's offensive side. The other thing about that is right now I think OU gets their first turnover of the year this Saturday.
You're planning on Jackson Arnold having the Missouri game is in the rearview mirror, huh? You'd much rather, everybody goes like, oh, well, we had an opportunistic defense. Well, okay, that's fine, but whenever they say that, no, you'd rather have a shutdown defense. OU's got a shutdown defense, so they haven't had to rely on the turnover.
And they won't have to worry about that.
That's better.
But anyway, the other thing is a couple other games in the SEC. Florida goes Miami. Florida, right now 0-2. Doesn't look very good, but they still got quality players.
Oh my gosh, how about this? You got Florida has at LSU, at Miami, then Texas at home. And then I think A&M is the next week. So it's a murderer's row of a schedule.
Bye-bye Napier. That's what that is. Here's one that I want to watch. Sam Houston State at Texas. And the only reason is because Arch, baby. What's he going to do?
Yeah, that film of him in the second quarter last week looked ugly. So I don't know.
You get booed on your home field.
Let's watch what happens next week in the Swamp, because Florida, I think, will be really, really motivated that week to play, and they've got a big-time defense. So,
all right, I got OU 38-17. I think they're going to have a big game on Saturday.
That's a high-scoring game.
Yes.
38-17. Okay, I'll go Oklahoma 27, Auburn 13.
There you go. Well, that's more like
the same score I picked for the Michigan game. something like that.
There you go. Well, it's low-scoring time.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, defense is playing defense. But for some reason, I think OU's sitting on a big game, and they're going to break into the first game of the SEC in a big way. All right, that's going to do it for this week's show. We'll see you next time on the Oklahoma Sports Report.